And now let's move on to the Russia investigation. Conservative writer Jerome Corsi today filed a 78-page criminal complaint against Robert Mueller, accusing special counsel of engaging in a coup against President Trump, claiming and of trying to bully him into offering false testimony against the president. Moments ago, Corsi spoke to Tucker Carlson about this complaint. Watch.
I'd forgotten about 2 emails. When I finally loaded the time machine, I realized these emails were there. The special prosecutor allowed me to amend the testimony about 10 days later. And then in the one count they wanted to plead guilty to, they want to charge me with knowingly and willfully giving false information on the original day's mistake, not taking into account that they had allowed me, the special prosecutor, to amend the testimony, which I thought was completely fraudulent.
President Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, also piling on Mueller, telling special counsel to, quote, put up or shut up, even describing his tactics as, quote, un-American. President Trump himself rounded things out with a tweet this morning that reads, quote, Bob Mueller, who is a much different man than people think, and his out-of-control band of angry Democrats don't want the truth. They only want lies. The truth is very bad for their mission. So why is the president and why are his allies going on offense? Here to weigh in, former speechwriter for George W. Bush and Wall Street Journal columnist Bill McGurn. Welcome back, as we learn with McGurn.
Thank you.
So these are certainly interesting times, and some people writing in conservative media have said just this weekend, well, maybe there's more to this than we thought, because there has been a full-throated defense of the president and some of his allies. But it's looking like Mueller's noose is tightening around the necks of Jerome Corsi and Roger Stone. What do you make of some of the developments?
Well, I'd say let's step back for a minute. If all what we know is true, the worst is true, I still don't think it rises to a level of a crime. I'm old-fashioned. I like prosecutors to investigate crimes, which is what a special counsel is supposed to do. This special counsel was set up for a counterintelligence investigation into Russian meddling into the 2016 election, and to what extent, if any, the Trump organization or Trump officials were involved. And we're mostly getting process crimes, lying to the FBI. It's easy to dismiss Jerome Corsi. He's been on some conspiracies and so forth. But I recall that the FBI agents who interviewed General Flynn thought he was telling the truth, and yet he pled guilty. So I think it's very troubling. And I think it's inherent in the nature of special counsels. I think it's an extra constitutional kind of institution with very little accountability.
And it's very easy to abuse that enormous
and just
power.
Go on and on and on. I think the Mueller investigation is like Obamacare. We have to have it wrapped up before we find out what's really in it. And it'd be interesting if in the end none of his crimes none of the things he charges people with are related to the actual thing he's investigating, but just to the investigation.
Well, that's the thing about the Corsi and Stone relationship and what they knew about WikiLeaks. How problematic is that? And does it matter if Jerome Corsi and Roger Stone knew about the trove from WikiLeaks or somehow delivered it to them?
I still think it's not a crime. It may be very unseemly, which politics often is. People on campaigns.
It's only a crime if they lied about it.
I think it's a crime if they lied about it for the investigation.
Have under oath gone before special counsel and the investigators and denied everything, but they've got documents, they've got surveillance.
They may have, even if they lied about it, it's not the underlying crime of what he was supposed to investigate. Basically, Russian officials cooperating with Trump officials to affect the 2016 campaign fraudulently. I think even if this is, we have this dirt, we know it's coming out, I'm just not sure that there's a crime there.
Do you believe that Corsi had no contact with Giuliani?
I don't know. He may have had contact again, and what I want to know is, was there a crime? Did he conspire to hack into things? Did he help on that? And I think we're getting further and further away from what the original investigation was supposed to be.
I agree with you that it doesn't appear to be impeachable for what we know right now, but it seems as though there has been a slight turn in that, you know, Mueller has been heavy-handed, and he has been really pressing in on those he finds to be most vulnerable and those who have the most information and the most to lose. So at some point, it's like getting a full body scan.
Still should be a crime. If you're the special prosecutor and you're investigating, so I would like to see the crime. We started out with an investigation, not a crime to be investigated. And if the only crimes are process crimes, by which I mean in the course of the investigation, these guys fell into a perjury trap, I think that's damaging for the country.
Well, we will see, because you can't have special counsel for every instance and every issue.
My belief is special counsel's corrupt, independent counsel's corrupt, absolutely. It's not even to do with Bob Mueller, it's to do with the office, which I think is a bad idea.
Bill McGurn, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.